We continue to follow the twists and turns of the Morozov family from Latvia. Last night, while saving their 10 children, they crossed the border into Belarus. All this time, they were accompanied by a crew from the First News. What made them flee the country, and where are they seeking refuge? According to the head of the family, the threat of losing parental rights, the ban on receiving benefits for large families, and all because you speak Russian. Such are the customs in the European Union today. This prompted the difficult decision. Anastasia Benedisiuk spent this day with the family.
This night was restless for everyone. No one knew if it would work out. We are at the Grigorovchina checkpoint on the Belarusian side, across from Latvia. Essentially, this is the only open checkpoint with this country today, and only by 4 a.m. in Belarus, a peaceful country, could the large family from Riga safely enter. 12 people, parents and children, 6 of whom are school-aged, in 2 minibuses, with everything they own. 400 kilograms of cargo, not just clothes and essentials, but also household appliances, yes, used. But bought with their own money and leaving it behind where they were essentially being driven out. Why would they?
I want my children to study in their own native Russian language and be considered people, not third-class citizens. I moved not for myself, but so my children could have educational prospects in future work, and that's it.
Were they going to take away your parental rights too?
Yes, that happened.
The head of the family worked as a builder, the wife a homemaker. Here are the shots shared by the Morozov family, showing the conditions they lived in, how they squeezed into Riga. Rental housing. Their state cares so much for large families that, for example, here is a room that doesn't belong to them. They paid for everything themselves. But it wasn't just economically unbearable lately. The main issue was psychological pressure. Children were refused education at school. If a child had problems with Latvian, they were threatened with special services. It got to the point where even in private conversations, they couldn't speak as they wished.
It so happened that our neighbors are Latvians. They were very annoyed that the children shout, run, well, that's normal. But they also run and shout in Russian. And every time the police were called, my parents, who worked all their lives for the Latvian Republic, were labeled as occupiers.
What future awaited these children at home? We didn't bother the school children with our questions. But Anastasia, she's 24, clearly understands that getting into university as a Russian speaker and without bags of money is impossible. Her career maximum, she says herself, is likely in a niche job. This interview with Nastia is being recorded at a chocolate factory. Here, having rested a bit from the road, the family enjoyed their time. The children learned how candies are made, and it's cool to see it from the conveyor. It definitely tastes better. This girl voiced the family's plea by addressing the president of Belarus. We appeal to the President of the Republic of Belarus, Alexander Grigorievich Lukashenko, for crossing the Belarusian border and temporary stay in the Republic of Belarus. With your support,
we needed to safely move to the Russian Federation. But unlikely, we would have made such a journey ourselves because transportation is very expensive. And our earnings literally went to bills and groceries, which increased every day. We were confident that Belarus, represented by President Alexander Lukashenko, could help us. He is a person who cares about his country and his people. This deserves respect, someone who loves his country.
Without help, it would have been really difficult for them. Just imagine the expenses for 12 people. And they also have a cat with them. But that's just a side note. The family used the visa-free regime. The border committee provided transport to Minsk. On the Belarusian side, they were provided with accommodation in the capital and leisure activities for the family.
The Foundation has long been conducting social work within the framework of the Large Family Villages project. Very pleasant. It's nice to know that this family has roots in Smolensk. That is, relatives, ancestors, parents lived in Smolensk at one time. And essentially they are returning to their roots.
They are heading to Russia, planning to live in a village. That's what they wanted. Anastasia dreams of becoming a veterinarian. She's confident. Everything will work out there. The younger ones are just looking at the world with wide open eyes, and absorbing that people's attitudes can be like this. Open, attentive, selfless. And one more important point. In Riga, the family has another son. He's 20. Love made him stay. Are you worried about your son who stayed there?
Of course I'm worried. The main thing is that he doesn't have any troubles.
Threats, articles, all of this exists. In Latvia, they've already been labeled. What do they write?
Traitors.
They call themselves patriots, and that's true. They remain true to their roots, their history, and all this with care for their children. And in Belarus, they still promise to return. Anastasia Benedisiuk, Anzor Tushev, First News.